top 5. This is the Money Down Pod. That is Sean White. I'm Kayvon Izami. That was our top 5 edge rushers coming into Combine Week. Now we're going to do our top 5 quarterbacks as we head into Combine Week. Once again, please give us a like, subscribe. You know the drill. This is the Money Down Pod. Follow us on Twitter at Money Down Pod. Sean, who is your number 1 cornerback as we head into draft week?
So this guy is actually going to make a huge jump on the top 15 after the combine for me. He's going to make a big jump. Honestly, I mean into the top 5. Him and Iquanu, after rewatching and seeing stuff, both of these guys are going to make their huge jumps from where I had them pre-top 15 combine to post, and that's Sauce Gardner. I love everything about him. He's long, he's rangy, he's big, he's physical, and he can bail. He can turn his hips. He can find the ball. Didn't give up a touchdown his whole career at Cincinnati. Crazy stat. He's got the skills to tip passes, pick passes. He's a good supporter and run. He's good in bump and run man. He's good in laying off zone. He can stare at the quarterback. He can turn his back and find the ball. He can do everything you want in a corner, and he's easily the number 1, in my opinion, in this draft. It's Sauce Gardner all the way.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. He is officially the guy I want at 8. He is my number 1 pick at 8. I want him to the Falcons so bad. Everything. I love the guy, man. I love him. I feel like he is an immediate lockdown corner. I really feel like he can come in and play right away, ready to roll and lock down. Everything you said about him is so spot on. His size is fantastic. He's good in coverage. He's good in man. Does not matter. Sauce Gardner, 6'2", 188, is my number 1 cornerback. And at this point, it's not even close. It's really not even close to the other guys out there. I think that he is, we're going to be talking about this other guy in a minute. I think he has more upside than the guy that we're going to be talking about in Derek Stingley. I think he is a better prospect now than Derek Stingley. I think Sauce Gardner is the man, and I love him as my number 1 cornerback.
Yeah, you're correct. Absolutely not close in my opinion either. I think he's a top 5 player in the draft right now, in my opinion. And honestly, him falling to 8 would be a steal, in my opinion, if the Falcons got him at 8. That's to be honest. I think the Giants would be crazy not to take him with one of their picks.
Agreed.
Honestly, I do feel that way. I think he'd be a decent trade up target for one of the teams behind Atlanta as well. Yeah, so yeah, he's gonna go in the top 10 because he has all the tools you want in a corner.
Yeah.
So here's where we're gonna get a little controversial on Kayvon's side, because I might have the weird opinion on Hutchinson, but I'll let Kayvon lay out his defense after I tell my number 2 being Derek Stingley Jr. He's there for upside, straight up. I can't defend his injury history. That's something that these team doctors are going to have to clear medically. I do think it's a little odd he's not working out at the combine, but at the same time, other people are opting out of doing that, so maybe he just wants to do his pro day. That pro day, though, he's laying it all on there because he's going to have to work out there. That's going to be a crucial, crucial day for Stingley Jr. His tape did fall off a little bit once he started getting banged up, but his freshman year at cornerback was one of the best cornerback seasons you could have.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. The truth is that second year, Elias Ricks was actually a better corner than him on the same team, and you can't really fault that. I definitely see Stingley as one of the more polarizing prospects in this draft because he has everything you want in a corner, but he did not put it together over a 3-year span like Sauce Gardner did. I see him kind of being one of those late 15 to 20s picks because people are scared about him, and either one of these teams that are playoff level teams are going to get a steal, or he's just going to bust out and be too injury prone. It's a boom or bust prospect, and I can't wait to hear what Kayvon has to say about him, but he's my number 2 right now.
Yeah, so I'll just talk about him now since you brought him up. He's not even he is my number 5. And I'm not even kidding when I say this. I almost didn't even put him in the number 5, but then I was like, people are just going to think I'm being way too overdramatic if I do that. So he is my number 5, but he barely made the list. And look, this is why. You're going to learn a lot when you watch people, whether it's people that do this for a living on TV, whether it's people that do podcasts like this, they have different ways of the way they break down players. One thing that I am biggest on, most important, no matter what, is strictly what I see on the film. More than upside, more than what they do in drills, all this stuff. It's just what they see on the film. The 2019 film was amazing. But also, that LSU team was absurd. It was the best college football team I've ever seen, man. It was incredible. And since then, all it's been has been injuries and terrible play. Maybe he's checked out since that year. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he personally said, I'm good, I'm checking out, and he's going to come in and dominate again like that in the league. And if he does, I'll be wrong. But to me, man, there are way more questions about him than there are about actual facts of knowing what he is. And because of that, I cannot trust taking him where people are mocking him, which is top 10. No way in hell. I wouldn't be worried even to take him in the top 15. Now, after that, I'm all for it because then you're really just starting to look on upside and all that stuff too. But top 10 for a guy that not only has he not shown anything on the film since 2018, he's been hurt. He's been hurt. He can't play. He can't stay on the field. So that is another huge flag. When you have a guy like Sauce Gardner who doesn't allow a touchdown all year, who guards every single player out there, stays on the field, it's not even a comparison to me. And I also don't even think it's a comparison to Andrew Booth, who is my number 2. Andrew Booth out of Clemson is I love him, man. He is number 2. I said on the other day, or a couple of weeks ago when we talked about earlier, I said, let me pull my notes, that he reminds me of Jair Alexander. He's a bigger quarterback. And I like everything about how he plays. I also think that Clemson quarterbacks, I kind of like the way they're taught when they're at Clemson. So he's my number 2. To me, man, he is a way better prospect now, and he projects out as a better prospect than Stingley does. I understand the upside that people see in Stingley. I get it. I'm not saying that it's there. I just think there's way more questions to his game and his health that have me backing the hell off, because I think there's some really good prospects that if it was this weak class where it'd be like, all right, man, Stingley has so much upside. No, to me, there's guys that are legit ready to go now. It's not even worth putting Stingley up there.
Yeah, corner's probably the third deepest position in the draft, really. And I love that you brought the smoke right there too. Like I said, in the comment section, the Hutchinson Stingley fans, we want all the smoke on that. Yeah. I'm higher on Stingley. You're a little higher on Hutch than me. So we'll come with the film and the facts to back it up. We obviously have very strong opinions about those two prospects, which is what you're supposed to do when you're breaking down the draft. Really, yeah. You go out there and you miss. These GMs miss all the time too. The thing that I do want to point out, that if you didn't watch our previous draft shows as well, you can really see our philosophy of how we kind of grade players out. Kayvon's more of a strictly all film guy, and I'm more of a big mix of film, but I like a big amount of upside in mine. And that's kind of how we differ on that. And that's why
it's cool to see that stuff. That's you want to see how people look into their prospects, because it shows you what they're thinking. So yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and honestly, you see that all the time in some GMs. Like, you see Ballard is a lot more how Kayvon is talking about. Ballard is strictly like a film character guy. You know what I'm saying? Kayvon's not an all character guy. Like, you have to be squeaky clean. But Ballard actually grades his prospects a lot like that with the Colts, and you see it grade out. Whereas, I don't know, I'm more of like one of those Maverick type fake GMs where I'm like, yeah, let's grab them with the red flags up there and let the coaches handle it. But no, so you had a great point on Andrew Booth, because he's number 3 for me, and he's very close to Stingley. I'm not going to sit there and act like it's a big gap. Like I said, I just preferred Stingley's high tier upside, but Booth actually has a lot of upside as well. Clemson corner. If you notice, these corners under Venables actually perform very well in the NFL.
They do, man. They do.
You see it with Trayvon Mullen. You see it with A.J. Terrell, who's one of the best corners in the game right now. And even though Terrell and some of these corners get burnt in some of these games in college, they actually translate better to the league, it seems, to where there's less space, there's less wide open running, there's less they have to deal with on that. I like Booth's transition in there. I think your Jair Alexander comp is great. I love that. I'm going to steal it every time we talk about it. That's a perfect comp for him. So credit you on that. Love Andrew Booth on that. I think he's a lock. Like, if he fell to the Patriots, I think they'd be very interested, with J.C. Jackson probably leaving. I think he fits in that 15 to 20 range. If you're looking for a corner, I think he's cornerback number 3 in my opinion. But I can see him having that cornerback 2 upside, so I love that as well. You want to hit your 4th?
Yeah, my number, and again, I really do like Andrew Booth a lot, and I'm really curious to see where he goes in the draft because I've seen everything from mid first round to late first round to I've even seen some in the second. Now, I don't think that happens, but I think I could totally see him going to the Patriots in the first round. I could totally see that happening, but I'd be very interested to see where Booth ends up going. My number third is Trent McDuffie out of Washington. I like Trent a lot. He's 5'11" guy. He reminds me a little bit of Byron Murphy with Arizona. He just kind of has that type of feel to him. I kind of think, to be honest, it's a bit of a drop off after 1 and 2. Really, really like 1 and 2, and they drop off. But I think McDuffie can be a starter in this league. I think he shows, the aggression that he has. He's able to play man to man. McDuffie to me, which Washington also does a good job with their corners. You see a lot of corners come out of Washington in the NFL. I like Trent McDuffie, inside, outside type cornerback, my number 3.
Yeah, he's my number 4, and it's like you said, it's versatility. You can move him all over the place, inside, outside. He's very good. His hips are fluid. He can really cover on the ball. He's kind of gonna be one of those like mid-tier risers that a lot of fans didn't pay attention to. Nobody really watched Washington. Let's be honest. Washington had a very down year, so nobody really caught up on their prospects as much. But yeah, I like McDuffie a lot. I'm assuming you have Gordon as teammate 4 because I have him 5.
Yeah.
I figured we were right there with the same thing.
And I think that's a good top 5 right there.
Yeah. Gordon's the upside guy out of the two of them because I think he's going to run super fast. Like he's going to be quick. He's going to test very well at the combine. He just has a little bit less cornerback skills that are honed that McDuffie has. He's not a complete prospect. He's going to need some coaching up, but he's going to be one of those fast risers. He was in like round 2s and 3s in a lot of mocks. He's going to be late first, in my opinion, right around there. Especially if cornerbacks make a run. I can see him making a run there and being a high upside corner as well. Washington does put good corners out, like you said. But yeah, he's my number 5 right now. It's the 2 Washington guys at 4 and 5. And really, it's to take your pick. Do you need someone on the inside? Do you want somebody with high upside? Really, it's how you feel about your cornerbacks coach, your secondary coach. Do you feel like you can develop more? Do you need a more ready-made prospect, in my opinion?
No doubt. And so that route, mine's Gordon and Stingley is rounds out my 5. Let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on McCreary out of Auburn?
I haven't watched a ton of him.
Okay.
He's right there. I've seen a little bit of him. I have him like right there. That's 6'7" range.
The 2 to me that are right there are him and I think it's Elam out of Florida or Elam.
Kyer Elam, yeah.
Kyer Elam.
I worry about. I'm gonna be honest. I have a bias against Florida cornerback.
I agree.
So
there's a lot of them that come out to be bust. Actually, 99% of them. Name a good one. Really, it's tough. That's come out in the NFL. A lot of them have been pretty bad. So no, I agree with that. But I do think that you're going to see him go higher than he should, and that's one right there.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name. I should have wrote him down, but I like the UTSA guy that went to the Senior Bowl, the converted wide receiver. He's like 6'3". I'm trying to think of his name right now.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Tyreek Woolen?
Yes.
Tyreek Woolen. UTSA guy.
Yeah.
UTSA. Yeah, I like him too. I like him too.
Yeah, he's moving up the board for me a little bit after watching. I think he's only played corner for 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
He's one of those really athletic dudes. Like he shows it on the field too.
Yeah, when we were going to talk about the combine here coming up in a second, he's going to be one of my guys to watch because he might run like 4.2, 4.3. He's going to
be flying. He's 6'4" too. I think.
And he has ball skills. You got to love that if you're going for like a developmental corner in the 3rd, 4th round. You got to love stuff like that. That's a very high upside pick right there.
Yeah, and that's what these GMs love once you start getting in those rounds.